Okay, here we go.
So today I want to pose to you guys a very simple question. Do you like to celebrate your birthday? Um, so for some of you guys, the answer might be no, because like maybe you don't like an over the top lavish birthday to celebrate, like yourself. And for others of you, like your birthday isn't enough. I know I definitely follow this category whenever my birthday comes around. I'm always like ecstatic, like that one day isn't enough. Just like make the whole week just about me, take me out to eat, whatever. Um, but I'm actually gonna tell you a story about how my view on birthday shifted. But first, let me give you some facts about my birthday. So my birthday falls on April 2nd, and throughout like my whole life, that means that it always falls usually on spring break, and if it's not on spring break, it's usually always on the weekend. So like either way, like I'm always winning on my birthday, like the whole weekend, the whole spring break, whatever. Um, and so for my birthday, I always wanted to go to Australia. I know it's definitely not because I watched the Wiggles as a kid. Definitely not. But so ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go to Australia to celebrate my birthday. But anyways, back to the story. Sorry about that. So a couple years ago, my parents mentioned that we were going to be going to Spain for spring break, which my birthday happened to fall on that day. It wasn't Australia, but I was still super hyped about it. I was like, yo, that's dope. Like going to a foreign country to celebrate my birthday, like who even does that? Like I'm just like a 15-year-old kid, like going to Spain, whatever. Um, but I was completely wrong about that. It ended up not being what I thought it would be because um, my dad mentioned that in this trip we would be walking. So at first I'm thinking, okay, because he said it with like a really serious like tone. Now we're gonna be walking this trip. It's gonna be really different. So I was like, okay. So like immediately I think NYC. All right, that's like there's not a problem. NYC still, I love NYC. Um, but then he's like, no, this is a different kind of walking. Um, he mentioned we would be doing the El Camino de Santiago, which is the way of St. James. And so at first I was like, all right, I'm sure. So I googled a couple things, and I saw like, oh, you're gonna be walking all day. People have equipment for this, um, and people train for this. So immediately I'm like, oh crap. That's like I still have like these little. Um, and but at least as much of a surprise trip this was, my dad did get us all the equipment that we needed. So like there's some walking sticks, whatever. And so now we're gonna start the journey. I'm like kind of like pissed off the mood. All right, like I'm really gonna be like walking the trip for my birthday. Like it's literally all we did all day. Um, but then I started opening up like once the trip started. I'm like, you know what? I'm already here. Like there's like a lot of green, whatever. There's a lot of like cool animals that I see on the way. So I was starting to open up, like really enjoy it. Um, but then, however, on the very first day of the trip, we're about like 5 hours into the hike. It starts raining, and I mean the weather here is already kind of chilly, but it's nice. It's like how the weather's been here. But it starts raining, and this rain is cold. Like I'm like shivering. I don't have any jacket or anything. Um, so I'm starting to get really frustrated. I'm like, "Ah, what the hell, bro? Like, what is this? Like, you really planned this trip, and we came all this distance just for us to be rained on, and like, I'm just pissed off, and this is like not what I wanted for my birthday." And then after that, as soon as I don't think it could get worse, the longest hour of my life occurs. Hail starts coming down. I didn't even know hail was a thing at the age of 15. I didn't know these little, like, 2 to 3 inch little white, I mean, cold, like, balls could fall from the sky, whatever. So now it's like, I'm freezing. I'm like getting pelted. I'm getting like little marks. So now I'm like, get this trip over with. Like, my brother literally started crying. I'm just there. I don't really cry. I'm like pretty good. But we're like, get this trip over with, Dad. Like, it's like the worst thing. You're never doing anything like this for my birthday. Um, but planned the trip out that like, we walk to a certain place and then we have our hotel and everything there. So for that first night, we're waiting for our car to pick us up, to take us to the hotel. And as we're waiting for that car, like getting wet, everything's coming down. Um, we're waiting like another extra 20 minutes, and then when he finally gets there in the car, I'm like probably the single greatest like revelation I've ever had in my life. In like such a moment of like desperation, 'cause I'm really just like out of it, and I realized that like how wet I was, how I realized that it was Good Friday that day actually. So it just really opened my eyes to the fact um that like no matter what, that God is like that God and my faith can help me get through anything, because I know, because He literally went through the most that day. Like everybody knows Good Friday. Our kids are not religious. It just was crucified and just like had the crown of thorns carried his cross. So it just really opened my eyes that just to be with God, um, I can really do anything. And I don't want to sit here and like prophesy to you guys, like, oh, you should follow God. This like religious being, and like he'll really save you from like whatever's to come next. But I just wanted to leave you with like a twist to my original question before. So like instead of asking if you like celebrate your birthday, why don't you ask yourself how can your birthday be celebrated this year?